Today, it's the showcase of college football as we look at the number one ranked team in the nation in the white jerseys, the Cornhuskers from Nebraska, being intercepted by the Sooners of Oklahoma in the crimson jerseys. They are ranked number 2. The game to decide who is number 1. The two top-ranked teams in the nation. A football classic that's been building for weeks, ever since Oklahoma defeated convincingly the University of Texas. We have a carnival atmosphere here, ladies and gentlemen, a holiday atmosphere. And the man on my left is the fellow that started the football prominence right here at Oklahoma, Charles Bud Wilkinson. And Bud, this is a game that I think has more build-up, more excitement than any I've done in the some 500.
Well, anytime you have the best offensive team in the country statistically that played a tough schedule like Oklahoma against the best defensive team in the country, you know something is really going to be sparkle and different than you normally get it. The Nebraska offense, one of the things to look for that's unusual is Johnny Rodgers, number 20, one of the more dangerous college football players I've ever seen, is listed as a wingback wide receiver, but he'll line up any place along the line of scrimmage. They hide him, and that makes it almost impossible, Chris, to play him man for man.
And the nation's number 1 defense against scoring. Nebraska will be confronted with a potent offense. They're number 1 in that department, the wishbone.
Well, the wishbone offense is really, at the moment, slightly ahead of the defense. The options along the line of scrimmage are very difficult to play defensively. I can summarize very quickly by saying when I was a single wing football player, we used to run off tackle by double teaming both the tackle and the end. The wishbone going wide does not block the tackle and does not block the end, and that releases 4 men to block downfield. So it's got something really going for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's overcast, not expected to be quite this cool, with a very strong wind coming out of the south, 47 degrees, and feeling the brunt of it all is our colleague Bill Fleming. Here he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the starting lineups. We're going to introduce the offensive teams today. Nebraska, split end. From Grosse Pointe, Michigan, number 32, Woody Cox. Left tackle from East Orange, New Jersey, number 72, Darrell White. Left guard from Los Angeles, number 77, Dick Rupert. Center from Melrose Park, Illinois, number 54, Doug Dumler. Right guard from Whittier, California, number 65, Keith Wortman. At right tackle, number 71, Carl Johnston. And number 78, Al Austin. At tight end, from Bay City, Michigan, number 85, Jerry List. At quarterback, from Green Bay, Wisconsin, number 14, Jerry Taggy. Running back from McCook, Nebraska, number 35, Jeff Kinney. Slot back from Omaha, number 20, Johnny Rodgers. Fullback from Kansas City, Kansas, number 44, Bill Oles. And the head coach of the Cornhuskers, Bob Devaney. Good luck, Coach. And now for the Sooners of Oklahoma. Tight end from Oklahoma City, 82, Al Chandler. Left tackle, Middleton, Colorado, 60, Dean Unruh. Left guard from Tulsa, number 73, Darrell Emmert. At center from Midland, Texas, number 54, Tom Brahaney. Right guard from Omaha, number 72, Ken Jones. Right tackle from Yukon, number 79, Robert Jensen. Split end from Abilene, number 12, John Harrison. At quarterback from Abilene, 11, Jack Milgram. Left halfback from Clinton, Oklahoma, number 35, Roy Bell. Left halfback from Henderson, Texas, number 22, Joe Wiley. At fullback from Hennessy, Oklahoma, number 17, Leon Crosswhite. At right halfback from Houston, Texas, number 30, Greg Pruitt. And the head coach, Chuck Fairbanks. Good luck, Coach. And those are the lineups. Now that's our ABC Cornhuskers.
Oklahoma wins the toss, chooses to defend, and will kick. And we'll start the game in 1 minute and keep rolling.
Yes, there you see a sellout crowd, probably the largest in the history of football here in Norman, Oklahoma. Somewhere near 64,000 fans on the artificial turf. There is one area that's important today, and that is the neutral zone, which perhaps you may know is the length of the football. That's the battle line. You're looking at it now. The team that seizes control of this area will win. Face to face on the left, number 54, Tom Brahaney, an All-American from Oklahoma. And on the right, number 70, Rich Glover of Nebraska. They and the men on either side of them are not as publicized as the backs or ends, but the victors in this area of warfare this afternoon will be the winners of the game. Going back deep now, it'll be Nebraska receiving number 20, the best in the country, returning kicks Johnny Rodgers. Number 35 on the far side is Jeff Kenny. Kicking off for the Oklahoma Sooners in the red jerseys, John Carroll, number 10. A 25-mile-an-hour wind coming from right to left. And here it is. This is an opportunity for the real Big Red to stand up. And after 60 minutes, we'll know what team is at the top of the spot. Nebraska in white. They have their scarlet football pants. Oklahoma on the right with crimson jerseys and white pants. We hope you're watching in color, you're comfortable, and as soon as that ball is touched, the game will be underway. Johnny Rodgers in his own end zone, 5, 10, 15, 20, coming out to the 25, and he was denied about 5 yards of his average kickoff return. Okay, Bud, we're ready as we look at the Nebraska line. Cox and List at the ends, with White and Johnson the tackles, Worthman and Rupert the guards, Dumler is the center. While in the backfield, Jerry Taggy, number 14, a great rusher, 35, Jeff Kenny, the fullback, Bill Olds, 44, and Johnny Rodgers, number 20. Watch for him. At the moment, he's just outside the near side tackle. We have Cox also outside, so from the 26-yard line, first down, Nebraska. Jerry Taggy. And his very first pass is completed to Johnny Rodgers.
I was really a little surprised, Chris. It is a strong wind from the right of your screen to the left of the screen. Oklahoma, however, with the potent offense, having won the toss, chose to kick the ball, taking the wind, rather than to unleash their own wishbone.
A beautiful 7-yard gain, so it's second down and 3. There you see the wind. It's dying down just a bit, the little gust from the 33-yard line. Nebraska, Jerry Taggy, number 14. And to the deep back, it's Jeff Kenny, who is stopped after a yard gain. And it's done by Mark Driscoll, number 59, who is joined by 43 Aycock, 81 Qualls. In the linebacker positions, we have Raymond Hamilton and Lionel Day as the ends. Moore and Selman are the tackles defensively, with Pope, Roach, Shelley, and O'Shaughnessy in the defensive backfield. No gain on the play, so it's third down and 3. The real test for the Nebraska defense right off. Rodgers to the far side. Taggy. And a 2-yard gain. It doesn't appear that they made it, so the Oklahoma defense, which hasn't received much publicity because of the potent offense of the wishbone, have done their job, with Aycock leading the defensive move at about the 35, Bud.
We're going to have a measurement, Chris, but quite positive you called it correctly. Oklahoma's defense this afternoon will play a very much of an attacking pattern of play. By that, I know that they feel that they must force Nebraska to make it across the line of scrimmage, and when you are forcing everything, you're vulnerable to the big gain. But Nebraska will have the ball all day if you don't play it that way.
All right. Now in the punt for Nebraska. We have number 26, Jeff Hughes. John Shelley is deep for the Oklahoma Sooners in the area of the 28-yard line. He's looking at the ball. It takes a bounce in reverse, and finally, very wisely, downed at the 32-yard line by Doug Dumler, who snapped the ball. A 32-yard punt, and now with the wind to their back after stopping Nebraska. Nebraska moved the ball 9 yards. Were forced to punt, and there's the offensive line for the Sooners. Jack Mildren, the cornerback. Roy Bell is starting instead of junior Joe Wiley, a sensation, but you'll see him later. And the real sensation, number 30, Greg Pruitt. Leon Crosswhite, number 17, is the fullback. Here's the wishbone now. First and 10 for the Sooners, with the ball at the 33. And Leon Crosswhite, number 17, carried on the play. All-American Larry Jacobson, number 75, and Glover, number 79 in white, made the stop.
Let's watch Glover. We had him on against Brahaney just before we kicked the ball off, and he's defeating Brahaney here and making the tackle of Crosswhite.
Two All-Americans having a battle up front. Let's see them now. They're head-to-head right there. Almost looks illegal as we have a second down and 8 from the 35. Mildren trying to pull away but couldn't. Jack Mildren as number 45, Bob Terrio, who has made more solo tackles on the Nebraska defensive unit than any of the players. This program is being brought to you as a special exclusive of ABC Sports. Let's pause 5 seconds for local station identification. All right, number 45 in white, Bob Terrio. Tim Welch is in at fullback for Oklahoma. 3rd and 7 for the Sooners. And the wishbone is being effectively defensed by the Nebraska unit. Mildred Carring and Jim Branch, number 51 in the white jersey, made the stop right at about the 38-yard line. It'll be 4th down and 5, Bud.
As the ball is snapped, Nebraska has 11 men coming toward that line of scrimmage, and they're going to be a little vulnerable for the play-action passes that operate off the wishbone fakes.
Joe Wiley back to punt. Johnny Rodgers, number 20. He returns punts as well as kickoffs. It's high in the air, which is what Wiley wanted to do, so there'd be kick coverage, and Rodgers gets away. Look at that. Johnny Rodgers. Look at the moves by that sensational player, a native of Omaha, and he is gone. Bob Terrio drew the last block that got Johnny Rodgers into the Oklahoma end zone, and Nebraska, number 1, leads 6-0 after about 75 yards. Offside against Oklahoma, needless to say. Jerry Taggy will get the final chat with the referee. At the moment, however, we have a timeout here at Owen Field in Norman, Oklahoma.
The 1971 Nebraska-Oklahoma game. Oklahoma kicked a 30-yard field goal to make the score 7-3. We rejoin the action with Nebraska's ball on the Oklahoma 48 to start the second quarter.
Two teams, numbers 1 and 2 in the nation. Nebraska averaging 39 points a game, Oklahoma 45. As we go into the second quarter, it's Nebraska leading 7-3 with a 2nd and 4 at the Oklahoma 48. Jerry Taggy. Taggy is waltzed right back to midfield. Number 43 is co-captain Steve Aycock from Midland, Texas, and we have Aycock isolated. Let's watch him.
He's the middle linebacker, moving down the line with Taggy, shaking Dumler off, and as Taggy kept the ball to turn upfield, Aycock meets him at the crossroads, stops him cold.
Now a measurement for Nebraska first down. 14 Taggy in white. 88 for Oklahoma is Bruce Deloney of Oklahoma City. And they missed the first down by a few inches. Oklahoma with 4 first downs. Nebraska is looking for its first down of the game, but they did have a 72-yard punt return for the touchdown. Here it is. They get it. Jerry Taggy of Green Bay, Wisconsin, a senior quarterback, 6'2", 215 pounds, gets more than enough as the ball is dead at the Oklahoma 44. First down.
The first quarter statistics, great tribute to the Oklahoma defense, holding Nebraska to 25 total yards. Oklahoma making 96 total yards, and Oklahoma keeping possession of the ball, but the great punt return by Johnny Rodgers is the difference, with Nebraska leading 7-3.
And a double wing formation with Frosty Anderson split wide to the far side from the 44, first down. Nebraska with the ball. Taggy. Taggy throwing deep to Rodgers. Rodgers covered on the play by Steve O'Shaughnessy, number 18. And let me tell you, Taggy threw that ball about 60 yards in the air. Second down and 10 for Nebraska at the 44 of Oklahoma. 7-3 the score, Nebraska. Nice fake by Taggy. Flips it then at the last moment to Kenny. Little action in the backfield that time, Bud.
They had all of the fakes. He started down the line, and when Rodgers comes over the ball, believe me, that makes the defense pay very sharp attention. Good execution of the option by Taggy also after making a fine fake to Rodgers.
So it was a 7-yard gain and brings up a 3rd down and 3 in the choir-like huddle. This is the nation's number 1 team, Nebraska. Cox, 32 to the far side. Coming to the near side, Rodgers, and as a slot man to the far side is Kenny. Single setback. He carries the ball and gets the first down 215-pound junior Bill Olds from Kansas City, Kansas. First down. Second of the game for Nebraska, and we're in the second quarter with 13:59 to go. For those of you that just joined us, it's 7-3, Nebraska leading.
Haycock again, the middle linebacker, moving away from the Nebraska center, Dumler, and then coming back in. But when you're moving laterally and the ball carrier is moving ahead, usually the ball carrier wins the battle and knocks the linebacker back.
From the slot eye, Taggy fakes and throws down the middle. Looked to be Woody Cox, number 32. Wait till we see the jersey. Correction, it's number 20, Johnny Rodgers.
Chris, that's one of the best executions. Here's the pass, and Hamilton really put the rush on Taggy. He was not blocked at all on the play. Taggy stood in there and threw that perfect strike.
Johnny Rodgers, who had caught 45 passes coming into the game, 10 touchdowns by way of passing and 5 by way of running. He's got 1 touchdown today on a punt return. First and 10 from the 19 now. Slot eye again, Taggy. And mixing up the plays to both sides of the field. Derlin Moore, number 97, in on the tackle for the Oklahoma defense that is really being tested now. As this drive started at the Nebraska 46 as Pruitt fumbled the ball.
And Nebraska is making about 5 or 6 yards on first down each time. And when you come in there second down and 5 or second down and 4, it really puts all of the pressure on the defense.
And the drive being sustained keeps the ball away from the nation's #1 offense. On second and 5, Jeff Kinney of McCook, Nebraska, number 35, stopped. Bruce Deloney, one of the players, along with number 66, Lionel Day of Houston, Texas. Play is stopped at the 12-yard line, so it'll be third down and 3. Third and 3. 7-3 the score, Nebraska leading, coming up to the 12-minute mark of the first half. Nebraska in white, Oklahoma, if you're watching in color, in the crimson jerseys. The slot eye again to the near side of the field. What faking by Taggy.
Strong, Chris, for a quarterback, 6'2", 215 pounds. He runs like a tailback.
There he is with part of his jersey torn. But nevertheless, he carried the ball to the 5 of Oklahoma. Many banners here at Owen Field in Norman. The sun trying to peek through again. First and goal now for the Cornhuskers. And Jeff Kinney carried on the play. Kinney, the #1 rusher for the Cornhuskers with 807 yards and 12 touchdowns, gets it down to about the 1.
Fine job of checking signals again by Taggy. He'll automatic at the line of scrimmage about half the time. He picked the hole there.
This drive started at the Nebraska 46. Second and goal. Jeff Kinney, touchdown, Nebraska, 13-3. And for Kinney, it's his 13th touchdown of the year. The senior from McCool, Nebraska. Keith Wardman and Al Austin blocking on the right side of the line, helping him to get an up and over play. Touchdown came at 11:09 of the second quarter.
And that drive typical of Nebraska, moving out with a great combination of pass run.
54 yards, 12 plays. Rich Sanger to try for the point after. Taggy holding up and good. This is NCAA college football with timeout to score. Nebraska 14, Oklahoma 3. On the near side, you see Greg Pruitt, number 30 on the far side. Joe Wiley awaiting the Nebraska kick by Rich Sanger, following a 54-yard drive. And on the 12th play, Jeff Kinney went from the 1 to get the touchdown of the ball game, and earned one, indeed, against the Oklahoma defense. The other Nebraska touchdown was on a 72-yard punt return by Johnny Rodgers. Oklahoma on a 30-yard field goal. It's 14-3. There you see the ball teed up with the wind to their back. Sanger's kick comes, and it's looked at by Greg Pruitt. And incidentally, with the sun out, You look right into the sun as Pruitt was trying to field the ball.
And here's the scoring play, climaxing the Nebraska 54-yard drive. Taggy turning, giving the ball to Kinney as Olds leads him into the line. Kinney up and over into the end zone for the score.
And in order for Oklahoma to win today, their offense has to keep trying to puncture the Nebraska defense. Nothing held back today, and let's see what the Sooners can do now. 1st and 10 from the 20. Mildren on the wishbone. But as Mildren saw the defensive moves unfolding, he flipped out to Pruitt, but Jim Anderson, number 18 of Nebraska, was not fooled.
Theoretically, you can move the ball with the running play no matter what the defense is doing, but Nebraska is closing their 4 secondary men, Mason, Kosh, Blaha, and Anderson, so quickly that I believe Oklahoma's going to have to hit some passes if they're going to move against this great Nebraska defense.
2nd down and 10 from the 20. And there is Leon Crosswhite, who injured himself earlier, but is back in. Blahak made the tackle at the 45, make it the 44, as Leon Crosswhite went 22 yards and a 1st down.
Glover has been giving Brahaney a bad time, but here he goes with the movement of Mildren. Brahaney really stays with him, and here goes Crosswhite.
And on this next play, 1st and 10 from the 44, the Sooners get up near midfield, trailing 14-3, coming up to the 10-minute mark of the first half. Mildren, carrying the ball, comes up to the 49, so it'll be 2nd down and 5 as Blahak and Jansen make the tackle. The ball actually between the hash marks, 48 and 49. Oklahoma on the left. Harrison set to the near side. And they just keep trying with that rushing aspect of the wishbone. Crosswhite again, stalled by Bob Terrio.
Same play that Crosswhite broke a moment ago, but this time Terrio does not overrun it. Watch him, number 45. Instead of overrunning it, he closes and is right on the tackle. Beautiful form. Shoulder in, legs apart, good balance, leg drive.
Dutton is in a tackle replacing Jansen on 3rd and 5 from the 49. Jack Mildren gets the 1st down. One of the beauties of the wishbone unfolding is Blahak and Branch make the stop at the Nebraska 44.
One of the reasons Oklahoma has moved the ball so well all year is that the back that the quarterback fakes to then becomes a blocking back. And Crosswhite, after faking to the ball, can go in and block. The lead halfbacks, Pruitt and Wiley, block exceptionally well, and the timing of where they are in relationship to the ball is very tough for the defense.
From the 44 of Nebraska, 1st down, Oklahoma. Crosswhite angling off across the 40. A moment ago, you saw the Texas A&M score. Texas leading 28-0. It appears that Texas will be going into the Cotton Bowl, and that means the Liberty Bowl to be seen on ABC December 20th, the night of the 20th. It'll be Tennessee, Arkansas. Great battle. And the Sugar Bowl features Oklahoma and Auburn. So now from the 39, after a 5-yard gain, 2nd and 5. And Pruitt meets a group of Cornhuskers.
He's a great runner, one of the most effective men in college football, but if there is no room to run, Chris, almost all the backs look alike.
And there you see the yardage situation. 3rd down. The ball is at the 37. 3rd down, and let's call it 3. Nebraska leading 14-3 with 7:44 to go in the first half. Mildren, 1st down for Oklahoma. And boy, when things do break with the wishbone, they happen in a hurry.
What he did was just juke him with the fake of the pitch. He turned upfield. 2 men could have made the tackle. I believe that it was Mason and Kosh coming in on him. But that little bit of the fake of the pitch to Pruitt, and they ignored Mildren as he cut between them.
An effective runner, as you saw. He's an adequate passer, a boy with quick hands and feet. And he has, in most cases, made the correct decisions under pressure. And there's the stiffest pressure that anybody could face in the Nebraska defense out here this afternoon. 1st and 10 at the 25 of Nebraska, Oklahoma with the ball. Harrison, 12, at the bottom of your screen. But that is just beautifully executed. Glover, 79, 27, Blahak.
And this is the quarterback counter that Oklahoma has not run so far this year. Mildren will make a quick fake to the right of your screen, and Glover will move with the first fake, and Mildren simply slips out around, and that fake helped Brahaney's block as he turned Glover very effectively here.
Boy, 2 All-Americans, 54 in the red jersey, Brahaney of Oklahoma, 79, Glover.
The crowd's cheering, Chris, but if I were Chuck Fairbanks, I'd rather been a foot short and had one more down.
All right. The ball is at the 15 of Nebraska. First down, and we have 7:03 to go in the first half. 14-3, Nebraska leading. The number 2 team in the nation, Oklahoma, with the ball.
The reason I said that, of course, was they're on the 15-yard line. If they get more snaps to get it in, they're more likely to get it there.
Mildren giving to Crosswhite. Crosswhite, 6'2", 203 pounds, is stopped by Branch, 51. Bob Terrio is out of the lineup. Number 45, having sprained his knee. Pat Morrell, number 40, is in there at the moment, but we get word that Terrio will be back. So the ball is near the 10. Oklahoma with a 2nd down and 6. Leon Crosswhite, the junior from Hennessy, Oklahoma, moves right down to the 5-yard line.
And the way the Oklahoma offense is using Pruitt now as a back to fake to is setting up the inside plays for Crosswhite. They're worried, Nebraska, logically about Pruitt because he is the game breaker.
Number 45, Terrio, the linebacker, is in there again. And by the way, a great block by Ken Jones of Omaha, the right guard. On the last play, as we have a 1st and goal to go at the 5 for Oklahoma. Jack Mildren had a little bit of a head start, but Terrio, 45, was at his back, along with 25, Dave Mason. And one more, number 90, John Dutton, a sophomore from Rapid City, South Dakota. As you see the situation here in the first half, clock running, 5:32, 14-3, Nebraska leading. And here is a 2nd down and goal to go. Let's call it the 2. Oklahoma started this drive at their own 20, trying to cap an 80-yard march. 13th play of this drive coming up. There it is. Just waltzes in. Jack Mildren of the Sooners.
And some block by Crosswhite.
Wasn't it beautiful? His 14th touchdown rushing. He is nearing the 1,000-yard rushing mark. The quarterback, Jack Mildren,
averaging 6.3 per attempt coming into this game.
So now it is 14-9, and a big point after coming up. We see Carroll, number 10. 80 yards, 13 plays. Carroll, 42 of 50 on the point after. Puts this one through the uprights. So what a game to decide which team is number 1 in the nation. As ABC's exclusive coverage of the game of the year will continue with the score. Nebraska 14, Oklahoma 10. Let's pause for a moment.
Welcome back to the 1971 Nebraska-Oklahoma game. It's now Nebraska's ball on their own 21 with a minute and a half left in the second quarter.
Dan Kroger, number 46, charging out to the 35. Not enough for the first down. Albert Qualls and Steve Aycock, the linebackers to this side of the field, make the stop at the 35-yard line. So it'll be a 3rd down and 2. A minute 22 to go, first half. Shelley is back in the defensive alignment for Oklahoma.
And Chuck Fairbanks is breathing a little easier.
There is Chuck Fairbanks. Woody Cox and Rodgers to the far side of the field. 3rd and 2. And a loose ball after being denied a first down where the play was stopped. Now let's see where the officials mark it.
They had called it dead, Chris, before the fumble, and he was short of the first down.
All right. So in comes the kicker for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, Jeff Hughes, a native of Burlington, Vermont. And he'll have the wind to his back as we have a minute to go in the first half. And let's see what players. Chuck Fairbanks, he sends Joe Wiley, a fine kick returner, back deep, along with number 18, Steve O'Shaughnessy, number 19, Jeff Nordgren.
And this is the one time you certainly do not want your kicker to out-kick his coverage.
Chuck Fairbanks. Doug Dumler will snap the ball to Jeff Hughes. With 1 minute exactly on the clock here to the south end of the field, Norman, Oklahoma, about 20 miles from Oklahoma City. And it's a quiet town of 60,000, but it hasn't been quiet this past week, anticipating this battle. Here's the kick by Hughes. The punt is on its way. Joe Wiley, a junior, couldn't make his moves and is stopped at the 22. 51 seconds left in the first half as Dick Rupert, the left guard, made the tackle. This program is being brought to you as a special exclusive of ABC Sports. Let's pause 5 seconds for local station identification. Don't forget, coming up after 51 seconds on the clock have elapsed, 2 great bands and the 2 universities will perform. You'll enjoy it. Mildren calls his own number. And Blahak comes up to make the stop. John Atkins joined Blahak on the play at the 27-yard line. So it'll now be a 2nd down and 5. And we look at the clock. It's stopped with 33 seconds to go, Bud.
And Oklahoma has just used their first timeout. They'll have 2 remaining, but it's awfully hard, Chris, with this offense to break the long gainer. It's not a good come-from-behind offense because you can give teams short yardage on running plays.
Jack Mildren, number 11, calling signals now with a 2nd down and 5 from his own 27-yard line. 33 seconds to go first half, trailing 14-10. Joe Wiley, number 22, coming up near a first down. 29 seconds, as you see.
And when I was talking earlier there, Chris, if the defense can say give them 8, give them 10 on a running play, and if you're willing to give them that kind of yardage, it's very easy to close on any kind of ball carrying plays.
Clock running, first down play. Mildren looking to throw, loops one out. It's coming in the area of Harrison. He has it. Harrison, as a helmet goes shooting out. The defender, number 24, Bill Cush, lost the helmet, and the play goes to the 24-yard line of Nebraska.
Let's look at it again. There was a great inside running fake here. Harrison just drifting down the field, then turning it on. Pope went back, didn't quite see the ball, overran it. That's Kosh overrunning it.
1st and 10 with the clock running, and there is a touchdown, Oklahoma, John Harrison.
I wouldn't have believed that, Chris.
78 yards, 4 plays, showing you the explosiveness of the wishbone offense. And Jack Mildren, coming into this game, had only completed 22 of 45 passes, but he ripped Nebraska with 2 passes in particular to take the lead. 16-14, what a game. 5 seconds left as we'll have the try for the point by John Carroll. It's up and it's good. But striking with dramatic suddenness.
Because normally you expect the defense will ignore the running fake when there's very few seconds left on the clock. Mildren must make the running fake. Let's take a look at the touchdown pass again. We'll have it up here hopefully in just a moment. Number 12. This is Harrison going downfield, and he clearly beats Kosh here. Mildren, after the running fake, put it perfectly on target. Mildren is 4 of 6 for this afternoon, and of course he was 22 of 45 going into the game. You've got to say he's a very good passer.
Well, it's his 8th touchdown pass of the year, and that is an incredible average of the completions. He's an academic All-American. As we have 5 seconds left on the clock, John Carroll's kick. He tried to make it go 10 yards in an onside attempt. It went 10, but we have Nebraska's Dick Rupert, it appears, over the ball to retain it for the Cornhuskers, who now trail by 3 as we look at Jack Mildren.
And I think we've got a very good man on the clock just because only 1 second ticked off after the ball was touched.
This is the first time all year that Nebraska has been behind the nation's #1 ranked team. They're now near midfield with a 1st and 10. As Taggy wants to get a touchdown, he throws it. Really reared back and let go. Tipped it for Johnny Rodgers. Delirious, hysterical Sooner fans as we look at the Sooner Schooner with 2 identical Shetland ponies named Boomer and Sooner pulling it across the tartan turf here on a very colorful afternoon, and one which we hope you're enjoying and adding to your Thanksgiving Day.
Welcome back to the 1971 Nebraska-Oklahoma game. Nebraska was unable to move the ball against the Oklahoma defense, forcing the Cornhuskers to punt. The Sooners gave it right back when Nebraska recovered an Oklahoma fumble at midfield. The Cornhuskers now take over with 11 minutes left in the 3rd quarter.
Yes, 2 touchdowns by Nebraska's Johnny Rodgers, 1 each. Jeff Kenny 1. Oklahoma has the lead 17-14 with about 11 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Nebraska recovered a fumble, 1st and 10 at the 47, and Jeff Kenny spins into Oklahoma territory to the 47.
Hit behind the line. Kenny is a man of great balance. He was able to slide right through the first couple of tackles.
There you see the backfield. Taggy 14, Kenny 35, Olds 44, and Johnny Rodgers 20. Cox and Rodgers 32 and 20 come to the near side of the field. In the slot is Rodgers, number 20, on 2nd and 4 from the Oklahoma 47. Kenny, tough man to stop. Gets about 5 yards and an apparent 1st down as Deloney makes the tackle. 1st and 10 for the Cornhuskers. The Cornhuskers are unbeaten in 29 games, ranked #1 in the nation. Oklahoma has not lost in 15 games, and the last loss was to Nebraska. There you see 3 fumbles, losing them, Oklahoma. 1st and 10 from the 42, Nebraska. Taggy for about 3 yards as Hamilton comes in to make the play, joined by 97 Derlin Moore. As college football's 103rd season nears its end, athletes in many exciting winter sports are starting to compete. Your favorite college probably has hockey, swimming, wrestling, and basketball. Plan to follow some of the NCAA action in your area during the months ahead. 2nd down and 7 now with the ball at the 39. Raheem Olds, number 44, carrying on the play as Dumler snapped the ball to Taggy. Mark Driscoll comes in on Olds, number 44 in white, joined by Deloney. And the play is at the 35, a gain of 4, so it's going to be 3rd down and 3. Lots of Nebraska fans here today as we have a record-breaking crowd of 63,385. Rodgers is flanked to the far side. Cox is split to the near side with Kenny in the slot. Single setback. Taggy gets the 1st down and more. Jerry Taggy moving his way down inside the 5 as Kenneth Polk forced him out of bounds.
And Nebraska, too, can run the option play. Taggy cutting upfield as Mildren does off the wishbone option and putting Nebraska in scoring position. Let's take a look at it again. Spread formation. Kenny is the wingback. Kenny making a good block right there, which set up the run.
All right, back live, a 1st and goal for the Cornhuskers at the 3 of Oklahoma. Kenny and Olds with the setback. Look at that move. Jeff Kenny pulling away from everyone for a 3-yard touchdown romp. And now it is 20-17 as Nebraska has regained the lead here in the third quarter.
Let's watch Kinney again. It doesn't look like there's any daylight at all. But he finds that crease as Olds makes a beautiful block for him. He hits the safety man and drives right over him, keeping his feet for the touchdown. Here, let's watch it again from the ground level camera. Great block by Olds. There's that hit and spin, and Kinney in the end zone.
Rich Sanger will try for the point after with Taggy holding. The kick is good. A timeout at Owen Field in Norman, Oklahoma, an overcast afternoon, where the score is Nebraska 21, Oklahoma 17. Back again at Owen Field in Norman, Oklahoma, where the Cornhuskers are meeting the Sooners with 8:54 to go. In the third quarter, it's 21-17 as the Cornhuskers went 53 yards in 6 plays, and now will kick into the wind to Joe Wiley, 22, or Greg Pruitt. Pruitt on the far side.
And they'll spin kick it into the wind rather than hanging it up in the air short and giving those speed men a chance to make a fine run back.
Here's Sanger moving to the ball. It's hanging in the air, coming up short of the two great run back artists. Number 17 for Oklahoma, Crosswhite, the fullback, brings it out to about the 27-yard line, where the Sooners now, trailing after taking the lead and forcing Nebraska to be behind for the first time this year, have the ball. Jack Mildred out on the field.
And the fumble problem is the key problem for Oklahoma's offense. They're moving the ball very well, but the 3 fumbles that they have lost have turned the ball over to Nebraska and kept them from dominating the game offensively.
Jerry Taggy on the phones for Nebraska. Meanwhile, out on the field, Jack Mildred for Oklahoma. To the 27, first down, and Crosswhite carries the ball across the 30. Nebraska led at the end of the first quarter, 7-3, on a 72-yard punt return by Johnny Rodgers. Oklahoma kicked a 30-yard field goal, John Carroll. And then Jeff Kenny scored for Nebraska, capping a 54-yard drive, but Oklahoma came right back, going 80 yards in 13 plays to make it 14-10. Then Oklahoma scored again, Mildred to Harrison to lead at halftime, 17-14. Now we have a second down and 7. Pruitt carrying on the play.
They're certainly giving Pruitt no daylight at all.
And Bud mentioned they, and speaking of they, it's the Nebraska group, which includes 57 Atkins, 75 Jacobson, 45 Terrio, Glover 79, 51 Branch, Jansen 55, Harper 81, Layhawk 27, 25 Mason, Cush 24, and Anderson 18. They're set now as Oklahoma has a third down and 4. The ball between the 30 and 35, and Mildred, Willie Harper pinches in from his right defensive end position. And in case of help, Jim Branch, number 51, was there too. So it's a punting situation.
Nebraska correctly anticipating Oklahoma would pass. Harper starting in, pausing, then turning it on. Getting back together with Rigetti of Nebraska. Oklahoma getting the big loss and being forced to punt.
So it's a 4th down and 16. The line of scrimmage or the snap will come from the 22 as Johnny Rodgers is deep. Joe Wiley's kick sailing high. Rodgers looks at it, couldn't get even one step as the coverage was good and included Tom Brahaney, the All-American center, number 54, and Dean Unruh, number 60. Tonight at 8 Eastern Time, Georgia Tech from Atlanta, Georgia. Keith Jackson, Lee Grosskupper there waiting to bring you that game. And at halftime of this event, the Downtown Athletic Club of New York will make its annual announcement of the Heisman Trophy winner. Nebraska at their own 39, 1st and 10. Maury Damkroger, number 46, who was alternated fullback with Bill Olds, carried on the play. And his advance is out to the 44 for 5. 2nd and 5 with Nebraska leading 21-17, 6:44 to go in the third quarter.
And they keep picking up that big yardage on first down, which makes it very difficult to defense them and stop them.
Cox and Rodgers are to the far side. And that's what Bud Wilkinson was referring to as Nebraska moves closer to midfield. Jeff Kenny carrying the ball this time up to about the 49 and very close, but apparently not close enough for a measurement. Yes, now the official indicates that He would like a measurement, and the head linesman comes in. Wendell Winkler and his crew. First down. Nebraska at the 49, their own 49.
And Nebraska's use of the I slot in this half has picked up their offense tremendously. Oklahoma's defense has not been able to contend nearly as well with the I slot inside running as they have with the rest of the Nebraska attack.
Nebraska sends Woody Cox and Rodgers to this side of the field, or the wide side, from their own 49, first down. They lead 21-17. Kenny and Damkroger are the setbacks. Kenny going wild here in the second half. Mark Driscoll making the stop on Jeff Kenny from Cook, Nebraska, number 35. And the Cornhuskers, showing their might, have moved to the 36 of Oklahoma, Bud.
That extra step of speed, John Shelley was coming up on a perfect inside angle. Kenny saw him coming, just turned on that little extra burst and was able to break right past him.
Jeff Kenny, 5.8 average, 92 total yards on 16 carries. He's number 35. First down from the Oklahoma 36. What a catch by Johnny Rodgers. Keith Pope covering on the play as Rodgers tried to juke and get more yardage, but the completion moves Nebraska to the Oklahoma 16, a gain of 20 yards.
Let's watch Rodgers as he's breaking down the field in the outside pattern. Taggy was running when he threw that ball, and he laid it right on target.
This drive started at the 39 of Nebraska. They now are at the Oklahoma 16. Rodgers to the far side on a wide slot position, just inside the split end Woody Cox. Jeff Kenny, 59 in the red jersey is Mark Driscoll, and 43 is Steve Aycock. Two Oklahoma linebackers, no gain, 2nd and 10 from the 16.
And the pressure is really on the Oklahoma defense. Percentage-wise, they've done a great job against Nebraska, holding them to 91 yards in the first half. The Cornhuskers have straightened up their blocking assignments, and using this I set have been able to move much better here in the second half.
Second down and 10. Taggy, receivers covered. Mark Driscoll making the tackle at about the 11-yard line. Another 5-yard pickup as they just churn it out.
And a great move by Taggy. As you said, Chris, everyone was covered. Instead of hesitating and taking a loss, he was able to turn on the speed and move inside of Day, picking up that 5-yard gain instead of getting about a 4-yard loss.
Frosty Anderson, number 89, who goes to the far side as a split end, may have brought in a play. It's a double wing formation on 3rd and 5 at the 11 of Oklahoma. Here's the pass. Johnny Rodgers, short of the Oklahoma goal line. John Shelley, number 33 in the dark jersey.
You've got to respect Rodgers deep, and when you respect him deep, it's very easy for him to get open short. Look at him breaking to the outside here as he made the deep fake downfield.
Nebraska trying to cap a 61-yard drive as they now have a 1st and goal at the half-yard spot. It darkens here in Norman, Oklahoma, getting more overcast as Anderson goes to the left. Kenny and Dramkroger are the setbacks, and Taggy tries to go in. To credit the whole middle of the Oklahoma defense, including Raymond Hamilton.
A first down that close to the goal line, Chris, many coaches don't believe there's any point in taking a chance on handing the ball to anyone else. The quarterback ought to be able to get it over from the first down on the 1-yard line.
Jerry Taggy, 215-pound, 6'2" quarterback from Green Bay, Wisconsin. 2nd and goal from the half. But Jeff Kenny goes in. So Jeff Kenny has scored the last 2 touchdowns for Nebraska, going in from the half-yard spot. And the Cornhuskers take a 10-point lead, 27-17. Kenny now with 14 touchdowns for the year.
Taggy doing a good job, and the line doing a good job. He took a long, long time calling the snap count down there. the defense is ready to go, and the longer you make them freeze in position, and your men know when the ball is going to be snapped, the less likelihood there is that they can get off on the mark with you.
61-yard drive, 9 plays. Rich Sanger trying for the point after. Taggy holding. It's good. 3 minutes, 38 seconds remaining in the third quarter of play as the game of the year in college football being seen here on ABC with timeout to score. Nebraska 28, Oklahoma 17. And now further pressure has been put on the number 2 ranked team, Oklahoma, as a result of another tough touchdown by Jeff Kenny as he scored 2 in about 5 minutes with 3:38 to go in the third quarter. 28-17 Nebraska leading. Rich Sanger has the ball teed on the 40. Kicking into the wind, and deep we have Greg Pruitt, number 30, and Joe Wiley, number 22. Here's the kick. Short again. Crosswhite looking at it, but stepping forward is number 40 for Oklahoma, Steve Dodd of Lindsay, Oklahoma. He is a sophomore. So it will be Oklahoma trying to move the ball, which they must at this point of the game, from about their own 28. Jack Mildren stepping forward from his own 28. 45 is Terrio. And you see Glover again, number 79.
Oklahoma faking to Pruitt here. There's Glover driving Brahaney back, freeing himself from Brahaney. There's Pruitt coming in, trying to block him, and he still moves away from Pruitt out to Mildren. He is some football player.
Harrison 12. The split end comes to the near side of the field on 2nd and 5 for Oklahoma from their own 33. Glover says, oh no, to Tim Welsh, number 45. Glover then joined by 250-pound Larry Jacobson, winner of the Outland Trophy as the outstanding lineman of the year, number 75.
I don't recall, Chris, ever seeing a middle guard that so dominates an offensive team as Glover. We had him against Colorado, and he played a magnificent game. And Brahaney is the All-American center, and he's handling Brahaney most of the time, getting through 1 or 2 blockers moving to the ball.
Just beyond the 33, it's a 3rd down and 5 for the Sooners, 2:29 to go in the third quarter. They trail by 11. And here is a pass thrown, and it is complete to John Harrison. Harrison trying to get away, can't. But Oklahoma has moved to the 15 of Nebraska. The pass thrown by John Harrison to Albert Chandler, number 82.
Let's take a look at it again. Harrison is the wide receiver, a split end. Here he is coming back. The fake of the play was to the left of the screen. There's the lateral as he picked it off. Instead of having Pruitt pick it off, he was rushed. Chandler was open on the play. The ball a little underthrown, but Oklahoma has the first down.
A 41-yard play to the 16 of Nebraska. First down. The exciting wishbone. Mildren. Look at him pick his way between folks. Quick feet. Bob Terrio, 45, stopped him just inside the 10 at the 8. It's an 8-yard move, though, by Mildren, number 11, as the Oklahoma fans feel that
he was trying to twist his ankle.
There's the yardage situation, Bud.
Oklahoma getting very close to 400 yards. Nebraska having picked up most of their yardage here in the second half,
which is unheard of, that much yardage against Nebraska. 2nd and 2. Mildren, his own number again, and it appears that he has the first down. First and goal to go. Oklahoma, Larry Jacobson, number 75, and 24, Bill Cush on the tackle. Mildren now has gained 101 yards rushing on 23 carries. He has scored 1 touchdown. He has thrown a touchdown to Harrison. So now it is 1st and goal with 1:05 to go in the third quarter. The ball at the 3. No gain. Jacobson. Well, he's beginning to show why he's an All-American, number 75 in white, Bud.
He just kind of overpowered Tim Welch. The fake was to Welch, and he went in to try to hit Jacobson, but he didn't quite get far enough outside of him to cut him to the inside so that Mildren could keep going wide.
Clock running, as you see. Nebraska leading 28-17 after trailing in the ball game 21-17 at halftime. Touchdown, Jack Mildren. So the Boomer Sooners go marching from their own 28. A 72-yard drive in 7 plays, and what an exciting game, Bud.
Anytime they ring that scoreboard the way these two teams do, it's excitement all the way. Reminds me, Chris, in 1950 we played Nebraska here. We had Billy Vessels, they had Bobby Reynolds, and that score was 49-35.
Well, we're approaching that now because we have 28 seconds remaining in the third quarter, and the kick by Carroll is up and good. A record-breaking crowd here. The last bigger crowd was in 1957, Bud, when you were the coach, and it was Notre Dame that day that stopped your 47-game winning streak.
I remember the afternoon very well. It was gray and overcast, almost like this one. Let's watch the touchdown again. You can watch the blocking here of the wishbone backs as they cut the pursuit down, enabling Mildren to move into the end zone for the touchdown. Let's take a look at it again from another angle. There go those fine blocks. Bell, Welch, and Mildren finding the end zone.
Capping a 72-yard drive in 7 plays, we have Rodgers to the near side and Kenny, 35 opposite, awaiting John Carroll's kick for Oklahoma. 28-24 is the score. 28 seconds left in the third quarter. Lots of time for either team as Rodgers, it goes right through. But it'll come out to the 20-yard line. A touchback. Now the powerful and #1 ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers. 1st and 10 at their own 20. Their super engineering quarterback, Jerry Taggy, has the ball. Pitches it to the deep man, Kenny. And Kenny...
It's that extra 4 yards he gets, Chris, after the ordinary back would be down, that enables Nebraska to dominate ball possession. Against Missouri, they kept the ball 47 out of the 60 minutes, which is the most unbelievable statistic I've ever heard.
It was a gain of 7 yards, and Kenny carried 230-pound Lucius Selman on his way. At the end of the third quarter, here at Owen Field in Norman, Oklahoma, where the temperature is 47 degrees, the score, Nebraska 28, Oklahoma 24.
You're watching Nebraska versus Oklahoma on Phi Beta Football.
And now we await the start of the fourth and final quarter in the game to decide #1 in the nation. Nebraska leading 28-24. They trailed at halftime 17-14. They have bounced back. Oklahoma has just scored on a 72-yard drive, and now it's 2nd and 3 for Nebraska at their own 27. First snap, fourth quarter. Taggy faking a handoff, faking with one pump of the throwing arm, and then carrying to the 31, where Mike Struck makes the tackle.
The statistics, Oklahoma clearly in the lead, 401 total yards to 237 for Nebraska. The statistic that is vital in this game is that Oklahoma has lost 3 fumbles. Nebraska has not made a turnover either by fumble or an interception.
It's a 1st and 10 now for Nebraska at their own 31. Gives you an idea of just how tough Kenny is. And the team that is being tested now is the Oklahoma defensive unit, because they have to get that ball for their offensive team. And here in the second half, Bud, Nebraska has sort of punctured them.
They've made 146 yards in the third quarter when they made only 91 yards in the entire first half.
2nd down and 7 for Nebraska. Taggy is 14. 20 is Johnny Rodgers. 85 is List to the far side. Cox 32 to the near side. Uh-oh, here's Johnny Rodgers coming the opposite way. There's that blinding speed out of bounds at midfield on a 16-yard gain. Roach forcing Rodgers, number 20, out of bounds. Rodgers with 16 touchdowns this year, 1 here today on a 72-yard punt return.
The leverage man has got to get as deep as the ball. The Oklahoma end is in too tight. Rodgers is out around clean, picks up the wall of blockers. And the Nebraska offense in the second half, has come to life.
Right on the midfield stripe. Snapping the ball will be Doug Dumler, number 54. Taggy right behind him. First down. Getting it away at the last moment to Jeff Kenny, number 98. grabbing that ball, Lucius Selman, as Larry Roach comes in defensively for Oklahoma, and the Sooner fans felt the ball should go elsewhere. With him at the 48, it's 2nd and 8.
Kenny certainly got it put away quickly, Chris. He was hit just about 2 steps after he caught the lateral.
And I've never seen such a last-minute pitch to him from Taggy. Cox goes to the far side along with 20. Rodgers on 2nd down and 8 from the Oklahoma 48. Olds is the fullback. Kenny behind him. The fake is to Kenny, and the defense took it. Here's Taggy. Taggy still trying.
Ooh. And once again, Oklahoma loses leverage rushing the passer. They had him, but Taggy had a little bit more speed than Day coming in.
Danny Mullen, number 58, in on the play, along with Mark Driscoll, as now the ball is at the 40 after an 8-yard gain. Let's see, we're just short of a first down, 3rd down and inches. And look at the yards gained by Kenny, the 2 quarterbacks going stride for stride on the rushing yardage. 3rd and inches, slot I. Jeff Kenny getting yards inside the 25 of Oklahoma. Driscoll making another tackle.
Let's watch Kenny again. Short yardage, it's always good at 8 to go out wide. You know that the defense is going to be converging to the inside. They've got everybody knocked down inside. Kenny picks up the first down very easily, and the Nebraska offense continues here in the second half to dominate the Oklahoma defense.
A 16-yard run by Kenny. Now the ball at the 24 of Oklahoma, 1st and 10. Nebraska leading 28-24. 12 minutes left in the ball game. Hiding of the ball, it's loose, and Oklahoma recovers. Lucius Selman recovers the ball.
That's the second mistake that Nebraska has made. They jumped offside once. Now they have fumbled once. But that fumble was a big one. Oklahoma has the ball, and they're only 4 points behind.
And we have 11 minutes and 47 seconds remaining in the ball game. A timeout at Owen Field in Norman with a score. Nebraska 28, Oklahoma 24. Lucius Selman has recovered a Nebraska fumble. As a result, the Sooners, who are trailing by 4 points with 11:47 to go in the ball game, have it at the 31, 1st down. Mildren, who scored the last Oklahoma touchdown, number 11 at quarterback. And Jack Mildren is moving. John Atkins went right along with him, finally stops him near the 41. Let's see if it's enough yardage.
That's Lucius Selman, number 98, who made that fumble recovery for Oklahoma. Nebraska seemed to be moving toward another, relentlessly moving toward a touchdown.
That was Danny Mullen alongside him on the Oklahoma bench. With the ball at the 41, it's 2nd down and less than a yard. Rich Glover again in on Mildren.
But that quarterback counter will straighten Glover up a little bit. He won't be able to pursue quite so fast with the normal wishbone pattern moving to the outside.
You just joined us. Nebraska led at the end of the first quarter, 7-3. They trailed at halftime, 17-14. At the end of the third quarter, they led 28-24. That's the score now, with Oklahoma getting a 1st and 10 at their own 45. And number 45, Tim Welsh, a 190-pounder from Bowie, Texas, moves near midfield. Next February, the United States gets its first chance to host the World University Winter Games. Some 500 college athletes from 25 countries will be competing in Plattsburgh and beautiful Lake Placid, New York, for international honors in hockey, skating, and skiing. 2nd down and 5 for Oklahoma near midfield. And there is the first opportunity to see the speed of Greg Pruitt. What a play, Bud.
There's the counter option. Let's watch it again. Mildren finally got him to close on him where he could get the ball out to Pruitt for the first time this afternoon. Let's look at it again. Here's Pruitt, a little counter step. Mildren throws the defense, and when he gets it, he can turn it on just like Johnny Rodgers.
Greg Pruitt. His biggest day rushing this year was 294 yards in a game, and as you saw, he has fantastic acceleration. So at the 33 of Nebraska now, following the 17-yard gain, Mildren keeps, and Jacobson is on top of him. And on the bottom, he had some help, too, from 51, Jim Branch of Chicago, Illinois. A gain of 2 to the 31, second down and 8. Mildren, 4 of 6 completions for 1 touchdown, 67%, 122 yards. He's rushed it 27 times, 117 yards, and he has scored a touchdown. In fact, he scored 2. Second and 8. And Welsh finds the toughness of the Nebraska defense.
And with time running out, we're getting in those critical situations. We've got third down and a long 5.
Yes, it is a long 5. It's more like 6.
Yes, it is.
Welsh playing the fullback position for Oklahoma. As a result, Crosswhite got some bruises early. He's been in and out of the lineup. We have Harrison to the near side on 3rd and 5. Mildren. And it's Welsh. Battles, but is short about 1.5 yards of the first down, bringing up 4th down. Jim Branch on the tackle. And now listen to the coaches in the stands. The fans.
There's going to be no disagreement between the coaches on the bench and the coaches in the stands. Oklahoma's going to go for it.
They need almost 2 yards. 8:51 to go in the ball game as Oklahoma trails by 4. The wishbone offense with Harrison split at the bottom of your screen, number 12.
Gotta go wide, I think.
And there's the first down by the bread and butter man, Jack Mildren.
That was a good idea to come back with the next related play to the one that breaks for long yardage. That was the counter option. Mildren, instead of pitching to Pruitt, felt that they would be drifting to cover Pruitt, kept it himself for the first down.
And he moved it to the 21-yard line. The Abilene, Texas native, senior Jack Mildren. There you see the Nebraska defense, which includes Atkins, Jacobson, Terrio, Glover, Branch, Jansen, Harper up front. Mason, Cush, Blayhock, and Anderson in the secondary. And up front, they were tough on Welsh, number 45. Very little gain, as you see the clock running. 28-24, Oklahoma has to penetrate the Nebraska end zone. Oklahoma with 61 rushes for 280 yards. Coming into this game, they averaged 481 yards. Now it's a second down and 9. And Pruitt doesn't have an opportunity to get his head down and go. He's usually in an upright position when he runs into those big Nebraska defenders. Mason, however, the monster man, joined Jacobson on the tackle at about the 17-yard line.
And you keep wondering, when is Oklahoma going to throw it? Because the defense stays up very tight against this powerful running attack.
Pruitt, 10 carries, 49 yards. He's in the wishbone on the right-hand side, number 30 of the 2 deep men. 3rd and 6. And knocked away on a beautiful play. Number 18, Jim Anderson, a senior from Green Bay. It was intended for Albert Chandler.
Chandler was open. Mildren underthrew it slightly.
4th down and 6 for Oklahoma with 7 minutes, 14 seconds to go. Nebraska leading 28-24.
And what play do you call here, Chris?
Well, you're the coach, Bud. You did so well here for so many years.
It's going to be a running fake. I believe that we may run the basic option or a pass off the fake.
They need 6 yards. Mildren busting one out here to a man who's open. It's a touchdown. Oklahoma leads. In 11 plays, and Jack Mildren has thrown his second touchdown pass to Harrison, John Harrison, also from Abilene, Texas. So the Abilene boys really shot him down that time. And And we have 7:10 to go, and now we have Carroll trying for the point after, and Oklahoma ups the count. They have a 31-28 margin at this moment. The game for number 1 will continue here on ABC in a moment. The score, Oklahoma 31, Nebraska 28. Kenny on the far side, Johnny Rodgers for Nebraska, awaiting the kick by Oklahoma as the Sooners have taken the lead again on a 69-yard march in 11 plays. Jack Milton to John Harrison for the score. 31-28 with 7 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the game. Here's the kick into the wind. Kicking it away from Rodgers, it goes to Kenny, a very dangerous and tough runner. But he is tripped up by number 37 of Oklahoma, Gary Young, a sophomore from Clinton.
Let's watch the touchdown again. Harrison, wide receiver for Oklahoma. Little inside fake, great backfield fake, and he beats Cush badly to the outside, wide open as he catches the ball.
Harrison, 4 catches, 115 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now Jerry Taggy from his own 26, 1st and 10. Nebraska in the white jerseys. They trail by 4. And here's Rodgers. And he lost his footing. The man that had a shot at him was number 96, Raymond Hamilton, but couldn't quite grab him.
Let's take another view of the touchdown. You can see the fine inside faking. And Mildren hitting Harrison, who was wide open to the outside, having fake Cush.
6:43 to go. Oklahoma 31, Nebraska 28. Nebraska number 1 in the rankings, Oklahoma number 2. 2nd and 6 from the 30. Jerry Taggy. Jeff Kenny.
Chris, you've played all season dreaming about getting into this game. And now you've got 6 minutes and 19 seconds to go, and on both sides, every down, every snap could be the play that decides the ball game. And the pressure equally on the Oklahoma defense to get the ball one more time, and on Nebraska's offense to sustain this drive as we look at Jack Mildren.
What a star he has been. He's putting on a different set of shoes, hopefully of using them soon. But right now, Nebraska 3rd and 1 at their own 35. Taggy. That's a good man to give it to when you need a yard or more. Look at that power runner. Jeff Kenny, Bud.
Let's watch him again as he runs through 3 Oklahoma defenders. Short yardage. Toss back from Taggy. He puts the ball away. Watch his power. That's one man. There comes the second. That's Aycock. He slides by the third. That's O'Shaughnessy. Finally is barely pulled down.
Jeff Kenny has scored twice for the Cornhuskers today. Moving the ball to the Oklahoma 48. 1st down. Gary Dixon, number 22, who is giving Kenny a rest, carried for the first time today, and now the clock. 5:15 to go. 31-24.
Plenty of time for Nebraska, but if they do score, it'll be awfully short time for the Oklahoma offense.
Ball now is at the 46. It is 2nd down and 8 for the Cornhuskers. They've gone 29 games without defeat. Nice fake by Taggy. Jerry List is going deep, but the receiver is covered. But then coming up short was Rodgers on a comeback try off the shoulder pad. 3rd down and 8 for Nebraska. 4:50 to go. 3rd down and 8. A lone setback with 2 wings out and in going out now. Taggy, just missed again by 96 Hamilton. Johnny Rodgers caught the ball, and it's a Nebraska 1st down and a big one, sustaining this drive and controlling the ball.
Let's watch Rodgers. Had Hamilton not lost the leverage, and you got to give Taggy credit for the move he made. Rodgers circling, coming back. Taggy has run now, and on the run, he finds Rodgers open. Puts it in there where no one can bat the ball down, about 2 feet off the ground.
5 catches, 59 yards for Rodgers. 1st and 10 at the Oklahoma 36. Frosty Anderson is in the lineup, split to the near side. There's the Rambler. Can't he move? Jeff Kenny, number 35.
Chris, that maybe Oklahoma let him score and get the ball and have time enough to maybe get one back yourself.
It's 1st and 10. Cornhuskers, 3:59 to go in the game. They trail by 3. Look at this run. Johnny Rodgers slipping away, falling to the 15 for a 7-yard gain. Slippery.
Oklahoma in position to make the tackle several times, but it makes a big difference who you're trying to tackle. The clock, the big factor. If Oklahoma does not stop them, it'll be very difficult for them to have time enough left to score.
Woody Cox going to the far side. Rodgers is an inside slot man on 2nd and 3 from the 15. And that's the man to give it to. Jeff Kinney. Mark Driscoll made the tackle, but not before Kinney had gone inside the 10 to the 8. A 7-yard gain. It is 1st and goal for the Cornhuskers, who have trailed twice today at halftime, 17-14. Then they came back to lead 28-24. Oklahoma came back to take the lead 31-28. We have 3 minutes left in the game. Trailing by 3. Nebraska 1st and goal from the Oklahoma 8. Jeff Kinney had a little trouble controlling the ball on the pitch from Taggy, but once he did, he moved upfield for a couple of yards. In on the play, Raymond Hamilton 96 and Selman 98 at the 6-yard line.
And that clock continues to tick away. If Nebraska scores, there'll be less than 2 minutes for Oklahoma. If they do not score, they'll not get the ball again.
Right now, 2nd and goal at the 6. Meanwhile, Taggy comes trotting over to head coach Bob Devaney, a graduate of Alma, a native of Saginaw, 15 years, and what a record he has. So we have a timeout at Owen Field in Norman, Oklahoma. The score, Oklahoma 31, Nebraska 28. Just as was anticipated, a close battle between the 2 top-ranked teams in the country. 2:20 to go. 2nd down, goal to go at the Oklahoma 6. Nebraska trailing by 3, 31-28. Going to the far side as a split end is Woody Cox. In the slot I formation, Jerry Taggy, number 14, calls signals. What a man to stop. Jeff Kinney, a fumble. And Oklahoma players say that they've recovered it, but the officials say no.
Let's watch it again. Kinney, the ball carrier, I formation, power. Olds blocking ahead of him. He moves outside of the block. He's hit. There's the grab for the ball. He fights through the man. He still's got good possession of the ball. His knee is on the ground now. He is on the ground now.
3rd and goal from the 2. What pressure on the Oklahoma defense. Not to be denied, Jeff Kinney, his 3rd touchdown of the afternoon. And Nebraska has regained the lead, 34-31. Wow, hope you're enjoying this game. It's one of many here on ABC over a 7-day period. We have more to come, including a game tonight, Georgia Tech. Then on Saturday, Army-Navy, to be followed by the Battle of the Unbeatens, Auburn-Alabama.
And 1:38 remaining.
Rick Sanger will try the point after, with the score being 34-31. Total of 65 points scored out here this afternoon. The kick is up and good. A beautiful drive of 74 sustained yards. 12 plays.
Watch the touchdown again. I formation. Olds leading Kinney in. Kroger, not Olds, I'm sorry, and he makes a great block. Beautiful, beautiful block on the Oklahoma defensive end, opening it up for Kinney to drive it clearly across the goal line for the Nebraska touchdown.
But he is one of the truly power runners that we've seen in college football in our NCAA series, which has covered 6 years. Wouldn't you agree?
I certainly would. 6'2", 210, and he's got burning determination.
Now, 2 good kick returners are deep for Oklahoma.
Bob Devaney has got a choice here, too, Chris. You can spin kick it, and you know that there won't be a return. but you've got a wind at your back, and maybe if you catch it just right, you can kick it out of the end zone. If you don't, though, you've got Wiley and Pruitt back there.
Wiley 22, Pruitt number 30. This is the time that Pruitt would like to show his speed. He hasn't had much chance today. This time it's picked up, whoops, by Wiley. Wiley finds a hole, but is up and down at the 20-yard line.
Oklahoma scored in 55 seconds right before the first half. They've got almost twice as much time left in this half.
They have to move it from their own 19 with a 1st and 10. And Mildren immediately wants to go to the air, throwing it long. Oh, Harrison had his man beaten, but the pass was overthrown. 27, Joel Blahak of Columbus, Nebraska, was covering Harrison on the play. Jack Mildren disappointed as a 2nd down and 10 comes up now. On the clock, 1:28 seconds.
And you're always debating, you know, they're going to be thinking pass, and they're going to ignore the running fake slightly. And maybe they'll give Pruitt a little running room.
A 4-point lead by Nebraska. Last time Oklahoma was defeated 28-21 last year by Nebraska. 2nd and 10 for the Sooners. Mildren. And Mildren is near the sideline after about a 4-yard gain. Bill Jansen forcing him out, number 55. Joined by 81, Willie Harper. Ball near the 23, the hash mark, so it'll be a 3rd down and 6. And a big one. Mildren, 30 carries, 139 yards rushing. Threw a touchdown pass, scored 2 himself. Now trailing by 4, 1:21 to go. And the #1 defensive unit in the nation, led by Larry Jacobson, number 75, throw Mildren for the loss inside the 15-yard line, bringing up 4th down and about 14 with 1:14 to go, Bud.
And Nebraska 1 snap away from maintaining the #1 rating and defending their national championship.
Unbeaten in 29 games. What a well-balanced unit. Nebraska.
And what a great second half of offense after being held in 91 yards in the first half.
That's right, and trailing at halftime, 17-14.
You know they're going to be playing pass. They've only had single coverage on Harrison all afternoon. It'll be double coverage this time.
We'll be presenting the Chevrolet Outstanding Offensive and Defensive Players of the Game Award. $1,000 scholarship for the school scholarship fund on behalf of the winning players. And Jack Mildren, after talking to head coach Chuck Fairbanks, moves slowly on the tartan turf on a gray and now dim afternoon as the field lights are not on.
And the game, Chris, has come down to 1 snap. And the season has come down to 1 snap for both of these teams.
And, of course, both Oklahoma and Nebraska have a game to be played. Nebraska going to Honolulu to play the University of Hawaii. And Oklahoma going against their interstate rival, Oklahoma State. So here it is from the wishbone. 4th down and 14. Mildren looking. Mildren getting away. The ball knocked down by, guess who? Rich Glover, number 79. Jacobson was the first in. Look at the size of that defensive tackle. 6'6", 250 pounds. And the Nebraska players are happy, and well, they should be.